You just know it's the start of the season when you see my face and when you see this video. Yes, we are back once again with another Premier League predictions video 2026-27, as the all-important time has come where I look like a mug right at the very end of the season. Because that is what usually happens when it comes to me and these type of videos. But they are a fun video, and these I like to see how good I can do with my predictions. Because it's the Premier League season, it's coming back very, very soon. Let's do it. Let's enjoy this video, and why not, take the mickey out of ourselves. As here it is. Here is my Premier League predictions for 2026-27. So, starting off in 20th place, last place, we have Hull City. And look, I think a lot of people thought that Hull City would be the ones that would be ending in last place, getting relegated, if they are doing a Premier League predictions video. Just because I don't think much people expected Hull City to be in the Premier League in the first place. I mean, last year, they were fighting for survival in the Championship. Now, they are in the Premier League. That just shows how mad football can be. But yeah, I feel like with Hull City, look, there is still some good players. There's a few good players in Hull's team, especially the likes of Mohamed Baloumi. He was the guy that stood out most of all in their playoff game. Against Millwall, he was the guy who was influential. Scored and assisted when they beat Millwall at the Den by 2-0. And look, that Middlesbrough goal, Ollie McBurnie, fantastic, fantastic goal. He will most likely be playing for Hull City in their starting lineup. But I think seeing Ollie McBurnie and Matt Targett in a starting 11 in the Premier League nowadays is just a bit... It's not great, really. And look, I think that may impact Hull a lot in this Premier League, a lot. Because, well, they need legs. They need agility. Premier League is completely different to the Championship in terms of physicality, in terms of technical ability. And I don't think Hull City really have that. That is why I'm saying Hull City will be the ones that will be finishing in last place in 20th position. Then in 19th place, where we have Coventry City, and they are finally here. After 25 years of waiting, Coventry City are back in the Premier League, and it has certainly been eventful in the way how we've got into the Premier League. They've had to add the likes of ground shares. They shared at Birmingham St Andrews. They shared at Northampton's ground at a time when they were struggling financially. That was when the likes of the Wasps ended up going under, and Coventry didn't have a home. They did not have a home to play at. Luckily, when a famous guy named Doug King ended up buying the club, he thought, we're going to move back. He moved them back to the CBS Arena, the Coventry Building Society Arena, where they always belong. And from there, they've had a united fan base and have finally gotten to this stage of the Premier League. I say congratulations and a big well done to the fans, because the fans, they deserve this. They deserve this. They've had years and years of waiting, and they deserve it. They really do deserve it. But I think that a problem is for Coventry this season is experience. I mean, apart from Frank Onyeka, who's played 75 games for Brentford, they haven't really got much of that experience. And they are champions. They do know what they're doing. They've played some good football last season. And look, they've still got the likes of Brian Thomas-Asante, Mason Clark, Milan Van Ooyek, who are all between 24 and 27, so they know what they're doing. But I think there is a problem in this, the fact that none of them have really played Premier League football, and that could be an impact. But they have made signings. They've signed Luam Chetauma from Burnley. He played 29 games in the Premier League. They've kept Carl Rushworth, the goalkeeper they've had from last season, which have been pivotal. That is a massive move there for Coventry if they want to have a bit of stability. And they did well. They did well keeping them players. But Frank Lampard will also be a concern. The fact that will he make it third time lucky? I mean, he did really well with Chelsea, guiding them fourth in the Champions League when they had a transfer embargo. But apart from that, that is really it. His second stint at Chelsea didn't really go to plan. And then when he managed Everton, that didn't go to plan at all. Almost got them relegated. But this is his third time. Hopefully Frank Lampard can make it third time lucky. He's done brilliant with the squad anyway. And I think this side has really, from Mark Robins when he left the club, I think he's kept them in a good, stable position, because they've always been in the Championship. They've been in the playoffs in the past 2 out of the 3 seasons prior to their promotion. And I just think overall this is their time. This is their time to say, we are here, and they will have a fun time. They will have a fun time in the Premier League, but I think that experience may be a problem from Coventry's squad. That's why I'm putting them just above Hull in 19th place. Then my final team who I think will get relegated is Ipswich Town. And look, I think the resignation of Kieran McKenna will hurt them a lot in this Premier League campaign, because Kieran McKenna, he is arguably a club legend at Ipswich from what he has done. To say that he took over when Ipswich were in League One, guided them all the way to the Championship, got them promoted, and then a season after got them promoted back into the Premier League, back into the big time, is a really, really big achievement there for Ipswich. And look, even though they struggled in the last couple of campaigns, I believe they only got 6 points from January onto the end of the season, they still got very, very popular results, with victories over Chelsea and Tottenham, which are really, really good results there for Ipswich. And I think they will only grow in confidence in the Premier League then. However, I do still think they will go down, purely because of the fact that I think these three promoted clubs won't match to the other 17 clubs competing in the Premier League. But I'm gonna say something very, very good about Ipswich. I think Dyson Maeda and Abdul Fattah of Leicester City are absolutely fantastic signings, and I like them a lot. Last year, Ipswich Town had the likes of Amari Hutchinson on the wings, who did a really, really good job, and that is what made him end up get that move, I believe, to Chelsea from that. And look, I do like them wingers. Dyson Maeda is an absolutely fantastic winger. Dyson Maeda is a player that you know to expect. You expect the unexpected from him, because he's an absolutely fantastic player, and I think that this is a superb signing on Ipswich's point of view. But look, I actually think Ipswich have a very, very good team, and I think they can compete more in the Premier League compared to what they did 2 years ago. I mean, you've got the likes of Fatawu and Maeda, you've got Florentino Luis from Benfica, Sasha Lucic of Fulham, Issa Diop as well there from Fulham, Jacob Greaves, that's the back two. Jacob Greaves is an experienced defender now. He played in the Premier League 2 seasons ago. He will know what the intensity is like. And then you've got Emerson, who signed from Toulouse. £24 million striker of Toulouse. He's had a good campaign. He scored 2 goals in pre-season against Rayo Vallecano and Union Berlin. I think he could be good, and I think Ipswich could have a very, very good team. Gary O'Neill knows what he's doing, and I think he could make this Ipswich team click. However, I don't think they will have enough to say that they will survive in this season's Premier League. That's why I've got them in 18th place. So in 17th place, I'm going for Sunderland, and it may not be the reason why I'm saying they will finish in 17th, as I think European football will kill Sunderland towards the end of the season. The added games, the added pressure of playing in Europe, seeing what that will be like, having 2 games or potentially 3 games a week will be a factor for this Sunderland side, in my opinion. As Sunderland had the best ever season last year. They couldn't have wished for a better season. That was like their Premier League title, what they did last season. They got promoted from the Championship and then playing in European football. That is something you cannot complain with, and that is something you will congratulate forever. And that is why Reggie Lebris, for me, should have got Manager of the Year, because taking Sunderland from the Championship to Europa League in the space of a year is absolutely phenomenal. As, look, I think the main thing as well for Sunderland is they've kept a key man of Granit Xhaka. I know Chelsea were on pursuit of him earlier this summer, but they decided to say no and get Jordan Henderson instead from Brentford. As, yeah, Sunderland, they've still got that key players. They've got the likes of Brian Brobby, Granit Xhaka, Lucio Gertruda, who will be influential in that role. As Sunderland actually had more World Cup players this year than Real Madrid, and I think after the season what they had, you can clearly see why. But I think they will prioritise the Europa League more than they will the Premier League. Hence, that's why I've got them in 17th place. So, in 16th place, I have gone for Fulham, and it is largely because there's a lot of uncertainty gathering around the club, obviously, because of Alvaro Arbeloa taking charge instead of Marco Silva, their best player of last season, Harry Wilson, leaving on a free. There's a lot of uncertainty around Fulham. I mean, they still have that squad, they've still got the likes of Harrison Reed, Calvin Bassey, Alex Iwobi, the experience. They've still got that experience. And they're going to get a lot of new players as well, with Jonah Kusiasari signing, the Swedish teenager signing from Bayern Munich, Gonzalo Garcia, who is obviously the big money signing there from Real Madrid. And I think he bags a lot of potential, me, Gonzalo Garcia, because if you look at him from the Club World Cup, he was brilliant. He was fantastic in the Club World Cup. I believe he scored something like 5 goals in 6 games in the Club World Cup. He was that good, and he was that pivotal for Real Madrid. And that was a Real Madrid, obviously well before the crisis of Xabi Alonso and all of that, but Xabi Alonso was still his coach, and he did very, very well. And fair to say that under Arbeloa, obviously taking charge of Fulham from Real Madrid, he had that short stint at Real Madrid, I think he will have gained a lot from Real Madrid to say that he might do really, really well at Fulham. And who knows, they might do better than my prediction. I'm just going a bit safe on my prediction here. That is why I am saying they will finish 16th. Then in 15th place, yet again, it seems like they always finish 15th. I am going for Crystal Palace, and it is basically that same thing again. 15th again, who gives it? Palace is staying up, and they're in another European tour, yes, because of that Conference League win they had over against Rayo Vallecano back in Leipzig. They earned themselves a place in the UEFA Europa League, where they will be facing more calibre sides, and Selhurst Park will be getting ready for them big European nights ahead. However, I think they will struggle to find form under Pierre Sarge in the Premier League. I think Sarge will be a very, very good manager, and I think in Europe he will do extremely well. Obviously, coming from AC Lens, he did really, really well at Lens, bringing in and unleashing the likes of Florian Thauvin, who hasn't really had a great season up until last season, where he became really, really good. He became a pivotal figure. I believe San Maximin as well, he might have coached at Lens. I know he had a spell at Lens, and he did quite well there. So that shows how good of a manager Palace are getting. It's just, how will he be equipped to deal in the Premier League? And I think they will struggle first. Obviously, losing a high-calibre manager such as Oliver Glasner will be a big impact for them. But they've signed a few players. Enan Kalai from Union Saint-Gilloise, Dwight McNeil as well from a swap deal. He brings in that experience. Tommy Yasu of Ajax, but was previously an Arsenal player. He did alright right back there for Arsenal. They are trying to get a squad to compete in Europe, because obviously the Europa League is going to be a whole lot difficult to the Conference League. And they've still got good players. We've got the likes of Jean-Philippe Mateta, Strand Larsen, Ismail Assar, Jeremiah Pino. They've still got good players there. But I think it is similar to that. I think the league, they may struggle on a little bit, Crystal Palace. Hence, that's why I'm putting them in 15th. But I think they will have a very, very good run in this year's Europa League. Then in 14th, I'm actually going for the club that took Oliver Glasner away from Crystal Palace, and that is Nottingham Forest. And I do think, I think they will be mid-table. I don't think they will be anywhere near where they were last year, teetering above relegation. I don't think they will be that type of team next year. I think they will be a more stable side. Well, we hope. But I think they will be stable, and I think they will get 14th place. I think no European football, because obviously last year they had to contend with the likes of European football. Did very well, mind you. They got to the semi-finals of the Europa League, but I think the no European football will help Forest in the fact that they are playing the Premier League. The fact that they are only playing the domestic cup competitions alongside the Premier League means they won't have to obviously contend with the likes of the Europa League, the Champions League, all that playing in this season, and I think that will be a big factor. And I think a massive transfer is signing Ousmane Diomande of Sporting Lisbon. I think that is an absolutely amazing signing, because I think what Nottingham Forest can do is they can have a back three of Milenkovic, Murillo and Diomande, which I think that back three is a very, very good back three for Nottingham Forest. They're all physical, they're all tall, and you know they're going to be heading a ball. And I think that is exactly what Oliver Glasner wants in that side. And keeping Morgan Gibbs-White as well, I mean, Morgan Gibbs-White hasn't really had lots of talk about him, but he had a very good season last year. He had a very good season, but yet no one's really talking about him. I mean, there's 2 weeks left in the transfer window, anything can happen, but I think that will help them. I think that will help them. And, I think Elliot Anderson leaving, obviously, is a bad loss. Elliot Anderson leaving, £160 million, but they've got that money and they can recruit heavily with that money. And I think Nottingham Forest will have an enjoyable season. I think they'll play good football under Glasner. Let's just hope Glasner doesn't get sacked after 2 months, but apart from that, I think they will do okay in the Premier League. I think they'll do alright. They'll do far better than they did last season. Hence, I've got them staying up with a big margin. And 14th place, there you go. 13th now, and I've gone for AFC Bournemouth. And I know Bournemouth, they always get predicted as mid-table. Everyone tends to predict AFC Bournemouth as mid-table, and I'm going to do it again. I think Bournemouth will be in mid-table, and I think similar to the other side, similar to Sunderland, I think Bournemouth's debut European tour will impact them a lot. And look, they are in the Europa League. I believe Bournemouth could have a chance of winning the Europa League, which... Tell that to a Bournemouth fan 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago, and they'd think you're living on another planet. That's what I think. But yeah, Bournemouth, they've got an incredible superstar with Ryan. Ryan is a superstar in the making. You could see when he played in the World Cup, he brought Brazil another flair. He brought another light in that squad. And I think with Bournemouth, he did really, really well. Granted that Antonio Raiola isn't there anymore. He's gone to Liverpool. I think Marco Rose will do something similar to that. Rose at Leipzig, he did very, very well, obviously, gaining players and making them a better player. I think he developed the likes of Benjamin Šeško. Obviously, he went to Manchester United. A few other players as well. He's a very good manager in that making. Like you say, it will be a different test to it. It will be a different test, similar to all the other managers like Pierre Sage and so on. I'm saying Pierre Sage Arbeloa. The Premier League is a different level, but I think they will do alright. He's competing in the Champions League, he's competing in the Bundesliga, done very well with RB Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach when he was manager there. He's a good manager. He's a very, very good coach. And I think with Bournemouth, signing Antonio Silva, Marco Senesi will hurt them a bit, but Antonio Silva, he can fill the void in that defence. Alvaro Rodriguez as well from Elche, he should do okay. And keeping Alex Scott as well has to be a huge boost, similar to Morgan Gibbs-White and especially Adam Wharton. If they can manage to keep them stars, that would be a huge, huge relief for Bournemouth, especially in a season like this, which is going to be like no other Bournemouth fans have ever experienced. And I think similar to Sunderland, they will focus more on Europe comparing to the league, hence why I've got them in 13th place. 12th, and I have gone for Newcastle United, and I'm sure a lot of Newcastle fans will not like my prediction of saying they will finish in 12th place, but I believe they will finish in 12th place. I think the young model, I think it's a very, very good model. Obviously, it's trialled out at a lot of clubs. Brighton do it, especially how they sign young players and then sell them ridiculously on high fees. Like, we saw the likes of Moises Caicedo go for 116 million to Chelsea. We've seen lots of other instances in that. But I think with Newcastle, it's going to be a lot more demanding for them young players. Hence, I've got them in a lower finish comparing to the likes of Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, and etc. I think Newcastle fans, I don't want to say this in a way, but I think they expect a lot from this, and it will either work out or it will either fumble for Newcastle. I mean, it's not a surprise, in my opinion, how a lot of people are saying Newcastle could get relegated this season because of this young model type thing. Will it work? Will it not work? Matthias Geisler is a good coach. Very, very good coach. Obviously, when he managed RB Salzburg, he built a brilliant team there. Obviously, when Al Hilal picked him up, he went to Al Ali, did a good job there, and then obviously the PIF investment fund must have seen that and then thought, we're having you on the cheap, going to Newcastle United. And I do like Geisler, but again, it's the Premier League, different level compared to any other else. And similar to, like I said, with the young model, they signed the likes of Basil Manatore of Hoffenheim. Good season. I think 43 million could be a lot, though. Aladji Bamba from Monaco, he's impressed in Ligue 1. Sean Stour, I think he's been the one that's looked the most impressive for Newcastle at the moment. Obviously, the games that he's played, Sean Stour looks like a very, very good player. Amad Dedic, we signed from Benfica, good player there as well. But it's going to be a risk and reward situation. I think Dan Burn will have to be pivotal in this Newcastle United squad to say, we are here. Because they signed a new goalkeeper as well. They signed the likes of Lucas Hornicek, who will be trying to go in the goal, and the likes of Dan Burn, the big leaders who will have to try and step up for this Newcastle team in order to do well. But I think this year, if this young model works for Newcastle, then I think they will do alright. And I think they will make a lot of teams struggle, especially at the St James's Park, which is most times every season an absolute fortress to go to. But I think Newcastle, it's a transition, it's a bit of a rebuild year this year, and I think hence they will finish where they were last year, in 12th place. Then in 11th, I am going for Everton. And I think Everton had a very, very good year last year. It was a shame for them to see the dip in the final end of the season, which made them finish 13th, mid-table. They will feel harshly done on that, considering they could have qualified into Europe. But that's the same. It's like same old Everton. They have a very, very good middle, and then at the end they go a bit oomph. But their away form was very, very impressive last season. I know that they beat Man United at Old Trafford. It was like a different change. It was a change. It felt like a change for Everton, that we aren't this team that are going to be relegated anymore. We're going to be a side that will contend and will fight for the Premier League. They finished 7th. They were the 7th best side away from home. They had a very, very good away record. It's a big team. It's a big team, and it's an ageing side, especially the defence. I mean, you've obviously got Jared Bromthwaite that's coming back from fitness. Jared Bromthwaite, obviously, when he's fit, is a very, very good player. But it's like you've got that, which I think is a bit meh. Midfield, I think we're all right on. You've got James Garner and Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, who will be very, very good. Depending on Ilman and Dye, if he comes in playing, then it's a different story. But I think Beto and Barry will have better seasons in the Premier League than last year. Tieno Barry, on his day, is a good striker, and you could see that towards the end of the season. Beto, he's one of them where he could not score for another 13 games and then score for the next 5. He's one of them. He's a bit inconsistent, but if he can get that consistency, then he'll be a good player. But I think Brennan Johnson will outshine both strikers. I think he will be similar to the Jack Grealish move when Jack Grealish came and they did really, really well, Everton, on the wing. And I think it'll be similar here with Brennan Johnson. However, I don't think they will have enough to say that they will compete for Europe, but I think that will be miles off the way of thinking that they will get relegated this season. And now let's finally get my top 10, and this is the stage where we will know who will win the Premier League, in my opinion. But first, let's go to 10th, and I have Brighton and Hove Albion located here in 10th. Brighton are just one of them teams that you know they're going to be challenging. You know they're going to be very, very about when it comes to European place. But Brighton, this year, they are on another European tour. They do play on Thursday against Tromsø, all the way up in the Arctic Circle in Norway, which will be a very, very good and very special away day, I'm sure, for them Brighton fans. But, like I say, I think they will still do well in the Premier League. Even without going, Danny Welbeck going will be a shame for them. Joel Veltman, he's left to join West Ham. There is obviously a shame with that, but apart from like the likes of Danny Welbeck, Solly Marsh and Matt Leaving, they've done very, very well in the arrival stage. And I think the signing of Luka Vuskovic from Tottenham is a very, very good move. £46.3 million we spent on him. As you know his impact for House Vow, he's a very, very good player, and he's a very young defender. He's only 19, but he's got a lot of potentially bags potential. Pascal Struijk as well there from Leeds is a good move from them. And then you've got Latoma, who didn't play last year. He was injured a lot, but when he's fit, he is fit. And I like the likes of, like I said before, you've got Jorginho Ruta up front, as I think he will score 10 plus goals this season, because Ruta won't have the worry of having to play under Danny Welbeck, having to play potentially with Danny Welbeck. He doesn't have that now. He's up front. This is his team. This is his team to go and impact and to go and storm the Premier League by storm. And I think they will do that. But, yeah, like you say, they've done good moves. Pascal Struijk, Zadok Johanna from AIK, good move there. AIK, good move there from him. Good move for Brighton, £21.5 million. He may become a star in the Premier League. He could become a next gen Kuba Minter, you never know. But, yeah, I think Brighton will have a good year this year. They will they should focus on doing well in Europe and doing well in the league. I do think they will narrowly just fall short of that European place. However, they may get a cup. I think they'll have a very good cup run this year, Brighton, either in the Conference League or in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, as I think they'll finish in 10th place. Now in 9th place, and a team that I think may get Europe is Leeds United. And I think they may get European football. I think they've done excellent recruitment there. I think, like I say, the signings of Trafford and Wilson are game changers. I think James Trafford, getting him for a lot of money, I believe it's a British record for the spending on an English goalkeeper. I think it's something like 53 million was spent on him. Very good move there, because they know that they have an okay goalkeeper. Then Leeds have always had a problem where when they've gone in the Premier League, they've had to toss and turn with goalkeepers. They had it when Melier, it was the same. It was like they were swapping and turning. This year it was the same. They signed Lucas Perry to be their number one goalkeeper. He didn't have a good game, and then it was the likes of Carl Darlow and Perry then alternating between goalkeepers. Now they have a proper number one goalkeeper, James Trafford, who I think he got shafted last year at Man City because he was expected to be the number one starter. Donnarumma came, and then that just completely blown out of proportion. As I think he will regularly start for Leeds. I doubt him being a keeper that will alternate between the number one and number two spot. I think he is here to stay for a long time. 45 million net worth from Manchester City. And Harry Wilson, free transfer. But he's brilliant. He's a brilliant player. Just look at the impact he did for Fulham. Brilliant player. I do also like the signing of Tariq Moharamovic of Sassuolo. I like him. I like that combination. He's a very strong and physical centre-back. And I think he may work in a Farke system, considering that we're going to go free at the back as well. I think Leeds will have a very good year. We've also got the likes of Wilfred Gnonto and Noah Okafor that can play up front alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin. As they've played, they've been competitive, and they've got some really good results there in the process. So I think with Leeds United, I think if they can keep up that home form, maybe get the away form a little bit better, then I think they could potentially sneak themselves in a European place. I've got them at 9th, which at the minute isn't a European place, but I could see this squad getting European football. Hence, I've got them in 9th. Just missing out, but they may get in. Next place is 8th, and I'm going for Aston Villa in 8th place, and it is largely because of outgoings. I think outgoings will be a big loss there for Aston Villa, as they're going to be a bit undetermined. No one really knows what to expect now from Villa, because they have sold a lot of players. Granted, they've bought very well with the likes of Yohan Manzambi, who came from Freiburg. He had a very good World Cup. João Gomez, who came from Wolves, very good midfielder. Alejandro Garnacho, who I think will be a squad player, largely. I think he will play the squad. He won't play every week, but I think he will be a squad player. As Villa have bought in, but they've also sold a lot of players. Yuri Tielemans to Man United. Very good move from United's part. Lucas Digne, him leaving to Paris Saint-Germain. Interesting move. Morgan Rogers is the one that catches the eye of most people. £118 million they sold him to Chelsea. As, look, they did a British record, but there's no point of keep selling. You need to keep some of your spine. You need to keep some of your spine in your team, and at the minute you're not doing that. Emiliano Martinez, I've heard he's rumoured to leave. There's a lot of players for Villa that are rumoured to leave. As Emery can do magic, but how much magic can he do with a depleted squad? That's the problem. Because when players are obviously going to be leaving, when key players are going to be leaving, it's going to make Aston Villa have a big impact. It will impact their league. As I think with Champions League as well, I think it will maybe a factor why Aston Villa will finish in 8th. And last year, a lot of people criticised Villa. I didn't criticise Villa. I predicted them that they would finish in 5th. They finished 4th with an extraordinary season. I thought they would have a really good season last year, Aston Villa. But I think this year, seeing players fall, I think will be an impact. Boubacar Kamara coming back is a big boost though for them, because he's a good player. But I think Aston Villa may struggle a tad bit this year. That's why I'm putting them in 8th place. In 7th, give me Brentford. I'm saying Brentford will get European football. This will be the season where Brentford will finally achieve European football. They were they were mostly in the European position, to be fair, last year. They were thinking, and a lot of people doubted Brentford as well. A lot of people said Brentford would get relegated last season. I knew they wouldn't. I thought they'd struggle, and I didn't think they'd do as well as they did. But I thought they may struggle. They may struggle, obviously, competing and so on with an inexperienced manager, Keith Andrews. But Keith Andrews proved everyone wrong because their team was really, really good. Igor Thiago was firing, Miguel Damsgaard was providing the assists, and they finished 9th. This year, I think they'll finish 2 better. I think they will finish 7th, and I think they will get European football. I think bolstering of their squad will finally achieve their goal of European football. I think increasing with the likes. I know they signed someone of Lons, which I think is a very, very good move there from them. Jayden Anthony from Burnley, good signing. Callum Wilson as well. It's a very experienced signing, that. And despite you getting rid of the experience with John Henderson leaving, I think Brentford will bring that experience with them. Mamadou Sangare off Aussie Lons, 41 million. He's a very good player, and this will show you how good he can be in the Premier League. And I think Brentford, if we can get everything gelling, then I think they may have a very, very good side. There's no European football this season will make this Brentford side a scary side this season. Their pace is unbelievable. And I think if they can all get firing on all edges, even the defence, midfield and attack, then I'm going to say that we'll get European football. And I think Keith Andrews will have done an extraordinary job to take this Brentford side, when a lot of people said we'd get relegated last season, to European football this 2 seasons after. It would be a really good achievement, and fair play to him if he does. 6th, and I've gone for Tottenham Hotspur. I think Roberto De Zerbi will guide the Spurs team back to European football after back-to-back 17 place finishes. As, I mean, the fact that they finished 17th 2 seasons in a row, one of them got Champions League, is quite insane. But I think Tottenham, last year, they were squeaky bum time. So they almost got relegated. Just think that for a second. Tottenham Hotspur getting relegated from the Premier League into the Championship. It's mad. But if it was anyone that was dubious over the idea that Spurs would get relegated, it was me. I thought Tottenham will stay up. I could see Tottenham staying up. I know everyone was online bantering Tottenham, saying they'd get relegated and so on. And, I mean, the Premier League, I think, would look a whole lot weirder if Tottenham Hotspur got relegated. I think it would look weird seeing them not in the Premier League. It would be really weird. And it'd be weird for Arsenal fans as well, not having that annual Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry. But I tell you what Tottenham have done is spend. They've spent this transfer window, and I don't blame them after back-to-back 17th. Sandro Tonali, fantastic player, and in that midfield, he may do very, very well in that midfield. Matheus Fernandes, it was obviously interesting either between Tottenham and Manchester United who would get Matheus Fernandes. It ended up being Tottenham. I believe I was 100 million. So they've had 2 £100 million offers, as Spurs have a good team. Spurs do have a good team, and they are trying to buy. Buy is their aim. They want to buy, and they want to do well with this team. I mean, Savinho is another guy that's been rumoured with Spurs practically all transfer window. Cody Gakpo as well. If you get them two in, very, very good. Mohamed Kudus, he comes out from injury. Very good player. Xavi Simons, obviously he was starting to get his career out. He's starting to play better in that Spurs shirt when he played. Now, we will get to see a full season of Xavi Simons to see what he's really like. And then Roberto De Zerbi, I like Roberto De Zerbi. I do like Roberto De Zerbi. But I think Tottenham Hotspur will finish in Europe. I think they will finish in 6th place. I think they will just finish outside the Champions League places, but only just. But I think Tottenham Hotspur still will have a very good team in next season, and they will make a lot of Tottenham fans proud, I believe, this season. 5th now, and I have gone for Liverpool. I do think they will struggle this season. I know last year I predicted them to be Premier League champions, and they were far short of that. They really were, as they didn't have a great year last year under Arne Slot. I mean, they managed to get in the Champions League. They finished 5th. They got in it, but they ended up sacking Arne Slot afterwards, or Arne Slot left. And then it was, who was going to be the next manager? The answer was Andoni Iraola, who is a very, very good manager, and you could tell he's a good manager of what he's saying here. Saying Iraola said himself that Liverpool players don't have energy for 90 minutes. As that is your own manager saying that. I mean, Liverpool fans are saying that just shows how bad Arne Slot was. If with Klopp's intensity, if it just got ruined because of that. As for Liverpool to not have that, it was a strange Liverpool team last year because they weren't the Liverpool team we know of. I do think this will be more of a rebuild year for Liverpool with new faces and so on. Jeremy Jacquet over N, good player. I think he will do well with that. We don't know about Liverpool's pursuit of Bradley Barcola. That could be the case. If we get Bradley Barcola, my league position of them might go up. But for the time being, I'm putting them in fifth. But I think Isaac and Wirtz will shine this season for Liverpool. I think they'll both do very, very well. They'll do far, far better than they did last season. But I still think they'll struggle comparing to where they usually are, which is, well, competing for Premier League titles and that. Hence, that's why I've got them in fifth place. Fourth place, and a team who I think will get Champions League football quite comfortably, is my own, Manchester United. I think they will get Champions League football yet again. I mean, despite the European games that I think will take a toll, obviously Michael Carrick, his last 3 games really of coaching twice a week hasn't really gone to plan. Last time was Leeds, we lost that. Then the other time was Newcastle, we lost that. And then it was AC Milan in a friendly. He lost that. So there is a problem when it comes to that. That's why I'm not putting Man United as high as we want to be. I think this is a really, really good year for teams to win the league this year. And I think Manchester United would have been looking at that. But, I mean, signing Yuri Tielemans and Andre Santos, it's good. It is good. But I think we need a little bit more. I think we do need a little bit more with that. As, it's one of them where we will get to see what Manchester United are like. As it will be interesting to see, obviously, the added European games as a factor, Champions League football, back to Old Trafford, which they will want to run and really get. But I do think United in some aspects will struggle. I don't think they'll do as much. But I think they'll have lesser point difference, and I think they will finish fourth. But fourth is Champions League, so I think they will be guaranteed a place in the Champions League. If they can keep up the likes of Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, potentially with Marcus Rashford, if he becomes a player that he was at Barcelona, playing really, really well, then I think United will do even better. But for the time being, I think Manchester United I think they will finish fourth. I think it will be alright, but I think they will finish fourth. I don't think they will go quite at the level of the other teams just as of yet, but I think they will finish in fourth place. And then to the final 3, and I'm saying Chelsea will finish in third. Yes, Chelsea. I think they will have a very, very good season this year. Xabi Alonso did work wonders. Look at what he did at Bayer Leverkusen. Real Madrid, not so much, but I just remember that spell at Bayer Leverkusen when they had Europa League, but the season before, they didn't. And they won the league. They won the league. Bayer Leverkusen, who have never not really won a trophy from a long time, they won the league. They won the Bundesliga. They defeated Bayern Munich to the Meisterschale, and it got crowned. They got crowned Bundesliga champions. And that Xabi Alonso side is going to be known in Germany for one of the greatest ever sides. As I think coming to Chelsea, he will do very, very well. And I think the 3-back formation will do very, very well. The 3-4-2-1 formation, I think that will do really, really well. As, like I said on the second note, Cole Palmer, João Pedro, Morgan Rogers and Estevao will be a generational lineup in attack. I think that lineup, in attacking-wise, will be very, very scary. As you've got the likes of Estevao probably on the right wing, Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer will be the two number 10s, and then you'll have João Pedro up front as the number 9. That is a very, very good squad. And look, Chelsea have signed more. Obviously, I mentioned about John Henderson earlier. They've signed the likes of Maxence Lechoir of Crystal Palace. Good move. Marco Palestra from Atalanta. He may play on the other wing. Giovanni Quenda. Emmanuel Egana from Sport and from Strasbourg, and Dastan Satbayev, who is on loan at the minute from Burnley. He's gone to Burnley on loan, but they're still good players. As I think Chelsea, they're in a good place at the minute. I think they weren't in a good place last season at all. I mean, after they sacked Anton Maresca, it was pretty much season over. Then it was pretty much season over as they finished last season in 10th. But I think this year they will have a better year. I think they will have a very, very good year this year, Chelsea. That's why, in fact, I'm placing them in 3rd place, just above Manchester United, but just below the top 2. Which means I can exclusively reveal who will be my Premier League champion 2026-27. And they are Arsenal. Yes, Arsenal again. Set piece again, ole ole, Arsenal again. I just think they've got the best squad. I think, similar to Liverpool last year, that's why I thought Liverpool would win the league. They've got the best squad. They have the best squad in the entire Premier League. Their defence, they've got a big defence. Midfield, with the signing of Bruno Guimaraes as well, they have a stacked midfield. And then forward, even though Leandro Trossard went, no problem, we'll replace him. And Christian Solis, who did really, really well for Club Brugge the past 2 seasons, I think they will have a good year again this year. And I think Christos Solis as well will play a very, very key role for Arsenal. As look, I think they are a very, very good side, and they have squad depth everywhere, and they can improve even more. That's the problem with Arsenal. They can improve even more for teams. As I do think they will challenge for the Champions League, just like they did last year. They challenged for the Championship. Unfortunately for them, fell 1 short when they lost to Paris Saint-Germain. But they can challenge. They can challenge. They have this really, really good squad, Arsenal. As despite their way of defending, their defence is probably the best in the world, and they will get points solely off their defence. As you've got obviously Gabriel, William Saliba, Piero Hincapié, Christian Mosquera. He's going to play a few bit. I believe he might start the opener against Coventry. They've got a good side, and they are a very, very good team, and they are a team that are not to be messed with, really, in this year. That means Manchester City are my 2nd place team. I think City, yet again, will fall short, and I think there will be a lot of danger this year with Enzo Maresca. I think Enzo Maresca will be he's going to be on the hot seat, arguably, because when you're replacing a manager such as Pep Guardiola, it's going to be a big ask. That is going to be a big, big ask, and I believe maybe the last game of the season, I think they will announce Vincent Kompany as manager for the start of next season. I believe that. I think Enzo Maresca, he won't last long at Manchester City. I think he'll last the whole season. They'll do really well. I think they'll finish in 2nd, but I think they'll be nowhere near Arsenal in terms of the quality and depth that they have. And that is why I'm putting Manchester City 2nd, really, because of that. I think the Enzo Maresca factor. And look, I still think they'll play good football even without the likes of Pep Guardiola in charge, and Rodri, big loss out. But I think Elliot Anderson will do the job, and potentially if Ayoub Buhadi comes in from Lille, you've got a midfield partnering that you've got for the next 10 years, and you've still got the attackers of Phil Foden, Antoine Semenyo, Ryan Cherky. You've still got Erling Haaland, the big man up front. Erling Haaland, he can win your league anyway on his own. But I just think with City, there's something not there. I think there's something that ain't there. Whilst for Arsenal, I think they've got everything. Hence why I'm putting them as the Premier League winners, and they are my 2026-27 Premier League winners. I believe Arsenal FC will be this year's champions of England. As just like that, there you go. That concludes my Premier League predictions for this year. I hope you enjoy it. Obviously, it's a little fun, it's a little laugh predicting who I think will win the league, as I always get them wrong anyway, usually get them wrong anyway, so it's a fun video. It's to see why not, and I think this will be fun. I think these are my accurate predictions. I think they will be. I'm hoping everyone will be alright, but we'll just have to see. It's just like that. I will get going. See you soon. Stay safe. Talking to you a lot then in the next one. Be back for a very special video that should be uploading sometime next week.